Interesting that we always hear things like nation one or nation two is civilized, while their acts are more barbaric than civilized. What do I mean? If you are civilized, why do you need to plunder another nation's resources? Why do you need to organize proxy wars? Why do you need to steal? Why do you need to impose sanctions? Why do you need to infiltrate within other political systems of another nation so that you can gain resources and build your infrastructure and other quote unquote developments, but at the price of blood of innocent men and women, young, old, and children who have been wiped off, and then give them a history that's not their history so that they don't know their history because you want to define their history so you can regain more control and then claim to give them independence. But it's not independence. Now, isn't that more barbaric than civilized? Think about this way. We are all using social media to an extent. Someone's opinion or even a meme, let's say is what, 3 words or a sentence, has more impact, and you change because of a little quote in a meme, or someone says something 2 minutes in, 1 minute in, seconds in, and you're like, and that changes you. And you didn't need to go and take anything from that individual. You just were attentive enough, you pick something, you learn. Or sometimes when you, or most of these social media platforms, within the comment section, you see something that's intriguing, like someone will say, research this, or they'll post something in relation to, it's like a dive deep, an in-depth something to either justify the whole content you're watching, or whatever it may be. And then you go and search, and then you have a mind, your brains are like lit everywhere because like this is some crazy information. Did you need to go to that person who you don't really know? And sometimes some of these comment sections, some don't even have a name. They'll be like a user 1345 or 00, whatever. Just something. You don't know the person. You don't know if it's a person or a bot. But to take the information, you do your due diligence on the research, and 1 plus 1 is 2. And you make a change from it. I consider that more civilized. But I have an issue when someone comes from wherever they are, they want to change my history, they want to change the culture, the language, they want to tell me that the colonized language should be the official language. I do have my language, which I was brought and raised up, and they want to define to me their language, their culture, impose it on me, and if I don't, I'm considered primitive. There's this notion that you always hear, developed and undeveloped nations. But I have a bone to pick with this part. This nation, you call it undeveloped. If you didn't take their resources, if you didn't put them under minimum wage and then pay them less, or take the talent, use them and then cast them out and then throw them once their visa is over, a visa period, put them on visa for, whatever you choose to do, claim to, pick a talent. Don't you think that is very interesting? Who's really developed? I'm of the opinion the undeveloped are actually developed if they were allowed to have their resources, to give the terms of conditions of their resources to the so-called quote-unquote developed nations. Because all of us, our blood is red. Doesn't matter your race, whatever. Facts. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth. Facts. So when we start taking these little terms, remember, these are seeds planted. When you start saying you are undeveloped or you are developed, what defines these two terms? Resources, development, But most of these so-called resources in the developed nations are for the undeveloped nations who had no voice of how their own resources would be used, how their own political system can be guided by them, how they should make their own decisions, just because a developed nation went, put a puppet leader, and then put a controlled opposition leader, and then added a proxy group or militia or gang to control the resources, then give resources to security agencies to protect against the proxies. So it's a battle of proxies, and I don't know, the non-proxies of our resources for this particular nation stolen from, because someone somewhere decided that they know better how to use. When if I was to meet, if you're to converse with anyone on this social media, whether you are watching it or listen, whatever it may be, you don't need to believe what I say. And I may not believe in what you say. But at some point, we always have a point where like, yeah, I think they are right. I think, and then you do a little research and like, they are right. You didn't need to kidnap me, torture me, impose barbaric acts on me for you to have your ideologies picked. No, you just need to tell me this, I agree to disagree, and then I'm like, yeah, you're right. Oh, no, you're wrong. So these terms, I will call them quote-unquote terms. Civilization used by civilized nations, but their acts are barbaric, where they impose politics, security, use of resources, and impose sanctions, and then they call the nations which they have looted from undeveloped. Crap. You're not undeveloped. You stole, you did all the evil to nations which didn't ask. It's like this whole crap that person one, I don't know, they were on this ship and then they discover this island where there are people and there's a discovery. Damn, those people were living, eating, drinking, doing businesses, and they're okay. They didn't need you to come and impose a language and a political system where you can steal resources and then come and impose to them your way of living. So until people wake up and start deciding not to use such terms, because the whole idea is simple. It's a seed that is planted so that you feel inferior. That's a choice you have to make. How much more inferior are we willing to be? So it's up to you, whether you fall under the quote in quote. You have a choice to make. To remove those seeds planted since you are born and stop accepting this crap, developed and undeveloped. I'm of the opinion, if you are to hold everyone accountable, if this so-called developed and undeveloped, quote in quote, would meet in a straight line, had the same artillery, same number of men in a battlefield, everything the same, this developed would gone. But because the seeds were planted long before, you say they say they colonize for the better good. Which better good? Because while you are busy destroying these nations, you are imposing tax on your people from developed nations. More taxes that they themselves can't bear. And use your soldiers to go and loot for you and never take care of your people. And then you come to nations which don't even know who you are or what you want, and then force them that your language should be a national language. That's what I call crap. So the so-called civilized, let's be honest. Are you really civilized? Or are you barbaric? all about consent. Did you get consent to have what you claim is yours? Or did you destroy another nation, community, race, whatever it may be, whatever context it may be under, and then come, plant seeds of inferiority complex so that we fight amongst each other like fools with the puppets you put in power so that we never rise up again? Wake up, people. Wake up. Smell the coffee. Reality check.